Hello, everybody. I'm Jordan Ostroff from Legalese Marketing, and today is the next Lawmatics centered video that we've put together. For those of you that don't know, as Legalese Marketing, we are a full service marketing agency. However, for a lot of our clients, what we found is the biggest issue they have is tracking the results. So, for many clients, we've gone in and built out a Lawmatics form for them so that not only do they get consistent follow up and automated follow up with a lot of their potential clients, but also it will real time track any of the other campaigns that we're running. So what I wanted to do along those lines, though, was kind of go through the process of putting together Lawmatics from day one. So the first place that I suggest everybody start is with their pipeline. Really sit down and outline your intake process. For most of our clients on that standard build out, we're looking at 5 stages. Basically, the before a consultation stage, the consult is pending, they no-showed for the consult, they showed up for the consult, you're trying to get them to hire, or they did in fact hire your firm. And then obviously we're running automations off all those stages to get people to want to set the consult, confirm the consult, get them to reset the consult, get them the contract, the invoice, and make sure that they've got the information to hire the firm. And then for a lot of people, we're doing drip campaigns for them after the client hires with more information they need, any other documents, anything along those lines. But regardless of what your intake process is, I think this is where you need to start. You want to outline that process as much as possible. And then again, just jumping off from a prior video that we shot, I suggest having this as granular as possible so that when cases go to lost, they will drop off of here unless you click the show all matters up here, then it'll show you everything. But that way, that will let you see what stages you're getting the most bottlenecking on. So for example, if you're getting a lot of leads that never set a consult, you may have some problems going on here. If you're getting a lot of people that set the consult and no show, you may have some issues there. And then obviously if you're getting a lot of people over and to get client to hired who aren't deciding to go ahead and hire, you may have an issue pricing wise, contract wise, or with a drip campaign over here to convince them on that last little bit to go ahead and hire. So once you have your pipeline outlined, you want to go and start putting together your custom fields. So for Lawmatics, you can put any sort of custom field here. You can have all sorts of different custom fields. They can be text, they can be text boxes, they can be drop-down lists, they can be strings, they can be money, they can be a bunch of things. Whatever information you need, think about it, and then think about where you need it. We try to put most of the things into matter fields. For the most part, you've got clients and contacts, but for them, you're going to create a matter that they might need you for. So most of the information you need is going to be for the exact situation that they're going through. And then you can see some of the sample ones that we've had, everything from payment amounts, turnaround time, business names, what school they attend, all sorts of custom fields that we put together for clients over here. Now, once you have those custom fields, once you have that pipeline, then what you want to do is you want to start setting up your new intake form. So we're going to make this just a test for the video. Now, again, same thing here, form types for matter, client, contact. Basically, this is going to cover what's going to happen at the end of that form. Here, we're talking about a matter form. So basically, filling out this intake form would create that matter. You have the option of setting internal use or external use. If you turn that on by clicking it over, that's going to make it so that this can only be accessed by somebody who is logged into your Lawmatics system. If you make it external, you'd be able to list it on another page. The benefit that you get to making it internal is you've got some more functionality and some more things you can do in the form that you can't do it from an external form. So we're going to do an internal one for the purpose of this video. However, it's very helpful to have just a simple intake form on your website that would be an external form that people can fill out to get into the pipeline without ever having to contact you. And then you want to follow it up with a longer internal form. So when we go ahead and create that form, it's going to come up like this. You've got all your standard fields over here. You've got your matter custom fields that we've put together. You can also do contact custom fields that would be here. You can create different blocks. So for the blocks, basically you can do a number of custom fields put together in a block that you will consistently run through the rest of your fields. You can have relationship blocks, so ways to link things to other ones. And then under the internal forms, you have a lot more information here in advanced. The biggest one being an appointment. So for example, if you drag that over here, when we run that form, so I'll just save it in preview right now, you'd be able to create an appointment right there in that form. So for example, you can book a consultation right then and there with them that moment. On an external form, you will not be able to do that. You also can make new contact information. So a lot of times, if you have a client calling you who's or a parent calling you who's not the actual client or spouse, you can put a second contact in there. You can do notes right there, which will then go to the notes section on the matter. You can request signatures. I mean, all sorts of file uploads, other things on those. But at the end of the day, a lot of this we're just dragging and dropping. So first name, last name. If we need birth date. And then you can see, you can set a couple things. You can go 3 across, you can go 2 across. You can go 1 across. That's the extent of it. And so when you're going through this form, you want to drag and drop the information you need, and then you want to start adding in those matter custom fields. If you forget a field, what you have to do is you'd have to go back into custom fields. You'd have to add a new custom field. You'd have to come back here and reload the page. So that's why I focus on making sure you've got those custom fields ready to go before you're putting the form together. Once you have that form, you can do save and preview to make sure it looks nice. You can save the form right here, and then the form would become usable to create that matter. So once that's done, that'll put them in the pipeline. And then what we want to talk about is the different automations that we can run. So we'll do another sample automation here. So we're going to call it sample for video. And again, you can run those off of matters, client accounts, all contacts. We're going to run it off of a matter. And then if you watched our video on the 3 biggest issues we see people making, one of the major ones was right here, setting those automations to a specific status. Normally, it's going to ask for all PNCs, all potential new clients. If for whatever reason you're running a drip campaign on people that are already lost, then you want to make sure you have that set over here. And if you're running unhired, you want to make sure you have that set here. You could have it run on everybody, or you can just have it run on certain people by clicking them or leaving them there. We're just going to run this on PNC for the purpose of this. So we'll create that new automation. Sample for video, we want to update the name. We can just go right here and do it. One of the big things I suggest to people is make sure you have your automations named very well. You want some sort of organization system. It makes it easier to find them. So one of the things you can do that for is if this is going out before a consult, if this is going out for a consult, if this is going out after a consult, something along those lines to help you split it up. And then again, we've got that status over here that we clicked before, so we can go in and add that later. We can also do subsections from there. This will show us how many matters are currently in that workflow, and then they'll start out as inactive, and to turn them on, I guess I can't do it. I didn't do anything yet, but you can just click right over there to turn the matters on. So the biggest things become really, what are the entry conditions? What can we do in an automation? And what are the exit conditions? So if you click on the pull down for entry conditions, click on edit, it'll bring you over here. So you can do, you can change the names and put notes and whatnot. You can run it on everything, but really we're focusing on something happening over here for it to run. So we can run them off of custom email events, either an email being open or an email being clicked on. We can run it off of somebody filling out a form, for example, filling out that intake form on our website or calling the office to do it. We can run it off of a requested file being sent, being pending, or being completed. We can run it off of somebody signing a document, so signing a contract or e-signing some other thing that you need them to do. We can run it off of an appointment being created based upon the event type. We can run it off of an invoice being paid as long as we're integrated with LawPay. And then we can run it based upon a match on a field. This is going to be the one that gives you that most functionality. So you can run it off of any standard field being a specific thing. So for example, we're going to run it off of stage. We can do is equal to, is not equal to, has any value, has no value. For stages, usually you're going to have a stage or you're going to want them to have a stage. So is equal to, let's say lead no contact. So this will run the minute a matter goes into that lead no contact, then this automation is going to run. So what can we do with it? We can send automatic emails. We can create appointments. We can request them to book an appointment. So for consultation, we may want them to have access to our calendar to set a consultation on their end. We can add internal tasks, for example, to call them, to follow up with them, to follow up on hiring, following up on setting a consult. We can add a delay. The delay is going to give you time in between automations to run different things or to check on them. So for example, you may want to immediately send them an email, and then you may want to delay it an hour for you to give them a chance to read the email and then give them a call back. Or you may want to delay it for 2 days to see if they reach back out to you to follow up with them, whatever it is. And for delays, we're talking You can delay by seconds, by minutes, by hours, by days, by weeks, by months, by years, all sorts of things. We've got further if-then conditions. So, for example, if they are lead no contact and they're filled out a workflow on our website, and they don't have a consultation booked, or if they do or are not a certain practice area case, whatever you want on the if-thens, that'll weed people out through there, or you can do different things for them depending upon which one they match on. You can send forms to them. So for a lot of our estate planning clients, they're sending out an intake form for the person to go over some of the different assets they have. You can request a signature. So this is a good one when it comes to getting them to hire. You can have that signature go out with your contract. You can request files from them so they can upload certain things. Again, very helpful for estate planning. If you need a deed for the house, or you need some financial information. You can change an attribute. So, for example, you can have anybody who goes into that stage gets an attribute change to being a hot lead or whatever it is that you want. You can convert the matter. So this we're normally going to do after they hire at the end, which will convert them to hired. It'll take them from PNC to a hired client. It'll also sync them to Clio or Practice Panther or Rocket Matter. So if you have that synced, you can send them an invoice. Again, this requires the integration with LawPay. And also, I don't have this set up on the dummy account, but you can also send automated text messages to them. So a lot of our clients, we're sending text messages as well as emails to follow up with the clients. So once you've figured out all the things that you want to do in this automation, you want to figure out if you need an exit condition, and if so, what you want it to be. So what I normally tell people is the safest thing to do in an exit condition is to do the entry condition no longer exists. And by that I mean, so for this, we're going in if they're on that stage, lead no contact. So let's exit them if the stage is not equal to lead no contact, save. So what this means is that this entire automation will run as long as they're still in that same stage. If they hire us, if they call the office and say that they're no longer interested, anything along those lines, you can change those here to make different exit conditions, but this will stop the automation immediately. So you may have 15 automated emails, you may have 10 automated text messages, you may have 6 different forms you want them to fill out before a consultation, but if for whatever reason, you need to kill that, they just need to no longer be in that stage. So you want to be really specific when it comes to creating those automations and creating the exit conditions, because what you don't want to do is have somebody be getting, 10 days worth of emails about why they should set a consultation with you, plus 3 days worth of emails about the consultation, plus 15 days worth of emails about why they should hire you once they've already hired. So you want to make sure you've got those exit conditions ready to go. The other thing that I suggest is to automate moving them to lost at the bottom of a lot of these automations. So when you're talking about potential clients, figure out what that time frame is where they're going to hire you, or most likely hire you within. So it might be 30 days, it might be 6 months, it might be 90 days, whatever it is for you. And at the end of that time frame, you can do delays to get you all the way to the end and then delay the rest of it. Change that attribute to loss so that way your reporting is correct. What you don't want to do is have all your cases still sitting in potential new client stage, because then Lawmatics isn't going to automatically calculate your close rates. It's not going to automatically calculate the value of your pipelines. It's not going to automatically do a lot of those things. If you have to go in manually and move every case over to lost, that's going to negatively impact your numbers to make sure that they're consistent. So, but again, remember that every block is happening in chronological order. So if you're delaying for a second and then running something, you'd have to delay it for a minute after that to run something else. Or you can run all those things immediately. It just depends upon you. So when you're doing delays and you're delaying a day in between things, whatever that last one is, if you're doing a delay of 5 different events over 5 days and you want to change attribute to loss at the 30th day, remember you've already got those 5 days worth of delays. So just delay it another 25 days and then drop that attribute change. I know this can be really complicated. We can get into this in a lot more detail. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have from here, but that just gives you kind of a brief overview on where to start when it comes to putting Lawmatics together and some of the options for automations that you may or may not think of. If you do need help with this or any other marketing efforts, please go ahead and give us a call at Legalese Marketing at 407-720-9119. Or you can email us at info@legaleasemarketing.com, or if you want, you can email me directly at Jordan, Jordan, at legaleasemarketing.com. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and we hope to talk to you all soon.